Hello everybody. Welcome to History 392, The Samurai, a summer course designed to do in 5 weeks what usually I do in 15 weeks. It is a challenge, but I think we can do it. It's a very exciting opportunity for me to be teaching an online course. This is the first one I've done, and I look forward to your feedback on helping it a success. So, my name is Victor Schmagen. My office is in Noble Hall, 230. I don't think that I'll actually be there in the office during office hours, though, because although I do have office hours, since this is an online course, I'm going to have my office hours via Skype. Monday to Friday, 2 to 3 p.m., also by appointment. Basically, if you want to talk to me and you can't during my office hours, just send me an email and we'll figure out when to connect via Skype. Email is vschmagen@fortlewis.edu, and my Skype ID is viktor.e.shmagin. This course will run from June 5th to July 9th. Your final assignment will be due July 7th, but I'll be taking it a couple of days late, or I can take it a couple of days late until July 9th, but not after that. So this is the time frame that we're going to be working with. Excuse me, I caught a little bit of a cold. This lecture is supposed to introduce you to the course format, and what we're going to do is the tried and true method of going through the syllabus, and I'll explain the syllabus as I go through it, all the different sections, all the assignments, all the expectations, etc., etc. And then you can log on to Canvas and explore the course on your own. I urge you to get started with the readings as soon as possible. But this explanation is kind of the nuts and bolts of the course, and the first lecture in Module 1, that is kind of the thematic introduction to the course. But certainly, I do want to touch on the theme of the course here as well, insofar as it'll help us to explain what the expectations and the mechanics of the course are. Course description. I just want to read this to you because I believe this to be very true, especially the first sentence. It is difficult to find a person unaware of the samurai. And also the second sentence I find to be very reflective of what I found anyway. However, most people, both in Japan and abroad, engage with their idealized image rather than with the group as an actual historical phenomenon. The aim of this course is to bring the samurai to life as a distinct status group that left an indelible mark on the history of Japan, and thereby, to hone your skills of separating fact from fiction. We will also explore the creation of iconic images of the samurai, which continue to influence worldwide popular culture. I believe these images are they are in many ways what brought you to this course, and as such it's great that you're aware of the samurai and have these images. But we also want to make sure that we appreciate the reality of the people behind them. So this course counts towards upper division history requirements, history department requirements, that is, including for the major and the minor in history. Also counts toward the world concentration of the general option in the major of history. It seeks to address history department learning goals and outcomes, HIST. That's how I'll refer to them throughout the syllabus. There's certain outcomes that different organizations, including the history department and others, have. So when I explain what an objective of the course is, that speaks to some of these institutions who have certain expectations of courses. So the history department learning goals and outcomes are labeled HIST. Fort Lewis colleges, college-wide outcomes are labeled, well, college, and liberal arts core are labeled LAC. So how does this all work? Well, I'll get back to that in a second about these objectives. But the course description, basically we'll be learning about the samurai. What do you need for this course? Course materials and resources. You need the textbook, a wonderful, wonderful book, easy to read, and blissfully compact. It's very easy to find textbooks that just explode. This one is very good. A Brief History of Japanese Civilization, and it is available online through the bookstore. Excuse me, the Fort Lewis College bookstore. Katsukokichi Musui Story, the autobiography of a Tokugawa samurai, a really bad samurai. I love this book. This guy is a complete disgrace, and yet it's just so much fun to read about his adventures. So this is in print, but also available through the Fort Lewis College bookstore. All other materials are posted on Canvas. Just the great majority of this course, the material of this course, is accessed through Canvas. But we will also be watching 5 films, 1 per week, and these will be incorporated into some of your assignments. Basically, well, I'll get into how that works. So I will hold optional film screenings once a week on Wednesday evenings at Fort Lewis College. If you can make it, that's great, because you'll get to see some of these movies. If you can't make it, you have to make arrangements to get these movies yourselves somehow. Please do this as early as possible, because some of these are less common than others, and many vendors or rental places or whatever may not have all of them. Canvas. So Canvas is our online learning management system at Fort Lewis College, and all of the materials on Canvas are available 24 hours a day. Basically just, here's this link to Canvas right here. Please explore this very useful tool. And if you have questions, please call either our on-campus IT support, or you can actually call Canvas directly. They have 24-hour support. They have online chat 24 hours. They'll help you out. Teams. This is a very, well, certainly not unique, but a very distinctive feature of this class. At the end of week 1, actually this is a typo here. Not at the end of week 1, but during week 1, you will create permanent working teams of approximately, it says 4 people here. This is incorrect. I apologize, I'll fix this later. The version of the syllabus that you'll have on the website will have this fixed. It's not 4 people, it's 2 people. So I'll just take care of this. You'll be in a clan with 2 people. Basically, you will be creating a samurai clan, developing their visual elements, their clan crest, their color scheme, and also developing them in the sense of basically guiding them through history. So you will be working in groups, and I really do expect you to cooperate in good conscience and really take this activity seriously. So here we go, these learning objectives. This is what I was talking about before. So objective number 1 is basically I took the course intro and set that as the objective. Engage with the samurai as a historical phenomenon, and also engage with them as a set of images that continue to influence our lives. And this speaks to the following learning outcomes. Basically, learning is inquiry, college outcome. Basically, what all of this means is that we want you to use information well. It speaks to information literacy. This is a key concept of history education, and certainly of this course. Information literacy is one of the 2 main objectives that any course here at Fort Lewis College, any history course, has. The other one being critical thinking. You are supposed to take information from sources, and you are supposed to think about it, see what conclusions it points to, and then analyze these conclusions, be able to explain them. Critical thinking, right? So information literacy, and you are also supposed to demonstrate a knowledge of the history of at least 3 regions of the world from the perspective of a global citizen. This is incredibly important in today's world. The focus is going to be on Asia, obviously, Japan being in Asia. And this is a history department learning outcome. So, learning outcome 2, what do I want you to get out of this course? We will use academic readings, primary sources, and other media to explore, examine the samurai from their origins in the Heian period, 8th to 12th centuries, to their official dissolution in the late 19th century, so from start to finish. We will focus on their development as a special status group and explore how they managed to maintain their corporate identity for so long. We will trace the evolution of the samurai from rural enforcers to territorial magnates to bureaucrats. This evolution affected and was affected by the development of samurai warfare, ethics, aesthetics, religious practices, ideas relating to gender roles and other aspects of samurai life, which we will all explore. We will see how these ideas and practices mediated their relations with household, society, and government. Finally, we will examine why samurai status was abolished at the start of the Meiji period, and how former samurai transformed into modern citizens. So we're going to look at the broad arc of samurai history and see how samurai society evolved in all of these aspects that I just mentioned here. That is part of the story. So this is supposed to get you to do what? To interpret and analyze historical material with an emphasis on primary sources and reflecting the epistemology and changes in historical debates. Once again, information literacy. Not only take this material and see what it means, but also what it means in context of wider history, but also of the study of history. You are also supposed to apply analytical tools such as class, race, gender, and sexuality to historical knowledge. We will focus on class and gender especially, although we will certainly talk about race and ethnicity as well in this course. And we will also talk about sexuality as well, so all of these concerns we will be exploring. You are also supposed to demonstrate an understanding of the diversity of past and present human cultures. That's just basically the content of the course. You're supposed to retain something of the content. Learning outcome 3, you will be expected to use historical sources and scholarly works in order to construct cogent, relevant arguments, which you will communicate through a number of written assignments. Good persuasive writing is a skill that no historian and no college graduate should be without. We will specifically focus on short essays in order to practice the art of concise writing. What is this saying? This is basically saying that this course is going to teach you some very useful skills. History courses in general are very good at this. They do teach you quite a few useful skills. The most, or, well, I don't know about the most, that depends on your personal, how you make use of these things, but one of the most useful skills is writing, because in doing a piece of analytic writing, you are employing information literacy, you are employing critical thinking, and you are communicating through a very useful and very widely employed medium of communication. Now, some of you may go on to become professional historians, but most of you will not. But even with that in mind, most of you will have to write something in the course of your professional life. You'll be forced to write certain kinds of documents. You're forced to write. I mean, you will write. So you should be very comfortable with doing this. This is a very useful skill, and frankly, some of the most important, one of the most important things you learn throughout college in general is how to write, how to express critical thinking. how to express that you understand material. And so, right, what are you supposed to get out of this? You are supposed to gain an appreciation for critical thinking as problem solving. Critical thinking is useful because it gets you to solve certain kinds of problems, here presented as historical analysis, in the rest of your life presented in, heaven only knows how many different ways. You are supposed to conduct historical research and present your findings orally, in writing, or both. This is a history department learning outcome. Basically, you will not be doing any oral presentations in this course. It's an online course, but in writing, yes, and through creative collaborative assignments, such as your clan activities, which we'll get into later. But you are doing original research in the sense that you are following the class readings. For the final paper, you also have the option of doing outside research if you wish. Essentially, this is how the learning outcome is formulated, but the emphasis here is certainly on writing, different kinds of writing. Also, students will reflect critically on ethical issues to make reasoned, intelligent judgments about complex problems. So, one of the things that is most fascinating about studying people from the past, including the samurai, is that they think differently in many ways. Their ethical frameworks, as their political culture, as other elements of their culture, are in many ways different from ours. And how we can think about their actions and their legacy while looking at them from our current point of view as people who grew up in a very different world, this is fascinating. This is how you get to reflect on human society, on human actions, by looking at the actions of people who you can understand and appreciate, but you have to make your brain kind of think in a different way because they had a very different background. This is how you really expand your appreciation of the world in which we live. What did I... Oh, excuse me. Here we go. Learning outcome 4. A portion of your grade will depend on teamwork. Although this is challenging, another main aim of this class, this is a main aim, is to develop your ability to learn from and engage with your fellow students as scholars of history, but just more broadly, to learn from and engage with your fellow students. You just can't do some things alone that you can do as a team, and I hope to inculcate an appreciation for that. So you are expected to participate in the weekly Friday teamwork sessions, and in order to do that, you will need to come prepared. That is, not come to class because you physically aren't in class, but to come mentally prepared to the task of engaging with this class. Meaning, do all the readings and assignments. This is never really optional. You can skip a few assignments as we'll get into later, but certainly do all the readings. And you will be willing, in just a few assignments, really, just a few. And you should be willing to share your views and observations. You need to learn to work with each other because that's just how the world works in general. And this is a safe space. You can experiment, you can get to know each other, you can just appreciate just be curious, ask questions, and then when you get out into the real world, you'll have, well, that sounds kind of silly. You're certainly already in the real world, but what I mean is in the job market. You'll be at a much better position to negotiate that. Communication is intellectual contribution, and students will apply intellectual and practical skills to think critically and communicate effectively, basically at the heart of this assignment. This is what I want to get out of you. Program learning outcomes. So what do I want you to get out of this course in learning, in light of what the history program is trying to do? Basically, I want to foster the ability of students to engage in critical thinking and to develop information literacy skills, as we've talked about before. And this is to help you, or in the context of the course, this is to help you effectively use historical sources as evidence towards constructing sound arguments, but of course in the context of life, this is to help you in general. And program learning outcome 2. This is specifically for the content, to familiarize you students with the history of the samurai in order to appreciate their influence on Japanese, East Asian, and world history. And it's that last part, world history, that is especially interesting to me as somebody who is not Japanese and who's deeply interested in this subject. I hope to have you become interested in this subject too, or deepen your engagement with it, even if you're not Japanese. And I wager to guess that unless something drastic happens in the next few days, most of you are not Japanese, at least the ones of you who are registered for the course so far. So we're all kind of in the same boat in this respect. So this is the skills portion of what I want you to get out of this course, and this is the content portion, and explained in detail in this learning outcomes section above.